Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean,
Pull it out of your pants, and there you go. You're playing.
Behind-the-scenes camera crap.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
I'm just so used to barfing right now.
I am ashamed to live in this world. I am Manila.
I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landon.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hello.
And we are here to talk all things tech this week, you guys, and games.
Games.
I mean, we got some games to talk about.
Games.
But first, before we get into games, we are going to talk some tech. And the first person I'm thinking that's going to actually talk about tech this week is going to be, flip the coin. Probably didn't hear that bounce off my desk. Landon.
Yay.
By the way, that was Tails. I just...
All right, there it is.
There it is. Landon, you got some news for us. Why don't you take it away?
Okay. So, listener, last week, we talked about the leaked stuff that was potentially coming inside of Android 12.
Yes.
And then, later on in the week, Google actually released the first developer preview of Android 12. So, now we have confirmation on some things and even more things to talk about. So, some of the things that were mentioned that could potentially be showing up in the final version of Android 12 are, first thing I want to mention, stackable widgets, kind of like on iOS 14.
Hey.
And I'm okay with this because I actually really like the widget stacks on iOS.
Yeah, they're kind of nice.
Because
Can I ask what that is?
So,
Because I don't know. I'm going to assume you put it together, but I'll let you explain it.
So the way that stackable widgets work is you can have multiple widgets on top of each other. So like it shows one at a time, and then you just kind of scroll through, and it shows the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And however many you have, it'll just keep scrolling through them until it gets to the last one, then it rotates back to the top.
Yep.
And
Gotcha.
it's just a way to have more widgets taking up less space.
Yeah.
And I like it.
It is nice, especially since most of my widgets I don't actually want to look at all the
Right.
time. They're just kind of like quick ways for, like I want to glance at the weather, but I don't always want to have the weather showing because sometimes I want it to be my calendar or something like that, but I don't always want to be looking at my calendar. And so
Yeah.
you just pile these things on top of each other, and it means you can have 6 or 7 widgets on a single home screen and still actually have apps and stuff around it, which means that I can be rocking just a single home screen on my phone, which I've been doing since iOS 14 launched, and holy crap, I love it.
That is
Yes.
awesome.
It's
Okay, that
very
is
nice.
cool.
So they're kind of hidden, and they are a little different than what's in iOS right now from the picture or videos that I've seen of them on Android 12. But they are there in the code, so that could be something that's coming. Another thing that is it's kind of hidden and hard to find, a quick settings tile to block camera usage or microphone usage. So this just if you enable this, and like I said, it's kind of hidden and kind of weird to enable, but it is there. But if you have this, what this will allow is for you to just scroll down into your quick settings, tap on the tile, and then it turns off all access to either the camera or the microphone, whichever one you touch on, to any apps at that time. And so it's kind of like Caleb's phone that he got a while back that has the manual switches to do that in the back of the phone, but this is not a hardware switch. It's just a
Software
switch.
I've actually realized regarding the Pine phone, I'm pretty sure that those switches are not actually, or were not originally put there as a privacy feature. It's a great privacy feature, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were originally put there so that software developers in Linux land could like disable pieces of hardware if they didn't have the drivers enabled for them.
Yes, I'm sure that's
so that
what
they
it was.
wouldn't cause compatibility issues.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what that's all about. But hey, it's a nice security side effect, I guess.
Yeah. And that's kind of what they're going for here with Android, and not the whole,
Yes.
developer side of things. I mean, that'll be beneficial, I'm sure, for developers, but they're sure they can already do that.
Probably.
Anyways,
yeah.
but
And in terms of just having a software switch, I'll bet that was already there for developers.
yes. All right. Another thing that is another thing that's kind of like on iOS. They have an emergency SOS signal that you can send out. So what you do if you enable this is you quickly press the power button 5 times, I believe is what they said, and it will automatically call whatever number you have set up. Its default is 911, but you can actually change it to a different phone number if you want. But if you change it to a different phone number, you have to have the phone unlocked to do this. Whereas if it's just defaults to 911, then it doesn't have to be unlocked. It does give you a 5-second delay and asks if you actually want to do this. So if you accidentally do it, you can cancel that if you need to. But they also make it a little more difficult to accidentally do it because you have to do it 5 times in order to actually make this work. But it is nice that that option is there in case you ever need it. Hopefully you never will. Another thing that they're doing is updating and making it easier to share Wi-Fi. So what they did, I want to say with either iOS 11 or iOS. Wow, I've been on Apple for too long. Android 11 or 10. I think it was Android 11, but they made it so you could share Wi-Fi via a QR code or just show the password right there without having to just tell people. It was kind of nice. But they're doing something like what is on iOS, where you can use what Android calls nearby share to just send the person the Wi-Fi information. And that's obviously going to be easier and quicker and much nicer. It is a really handy tool on iOS, I will say. Although, I've noticed the person that you have to share with does have to be in your contacts list in order to share Wi-Fi.
Yes.
In iOS. That doesn't seem to be the case when it comes to this with Android, but obviously I don't know for sure yet. But making it easier to share Wi-Fi is always a nice thing.
Yep.
The next thing that is also hidden and somewhat broken, kind of works, but finally scrolling screenshots.
Hey!
Yes, that is now potentially a thing, at least in the developer preview. Again, hidden and doesn't fully work the way you would expect it to, but kind of does sometimes, I guess. But that is a thing that is there. Another one that is coming from iOS. It's funny, we get all these updates with Android, and it's a lot of things that are new, and then a lot of things that are coming from iOS. And the same thing with iOS is a lot of things that are new and a lot of things coming from Android. It's a good thing.
It is, yes.
Another thing is iPhone style one-handed mode. So, listener, if you don't know what this is, on the iPhone, you can. I don't even know how to enable it. I do it on accident all the time, which is annoying. But what it does is it brings the top of the screen down halfway and makes it easier to access the top of your screen without having to put your thumb hold the phone differently, unless you're Caleb with the iPhone Mini.
Which is so great, and I can reach all the way across the screen with one hand, and it's awesome, and I love it so much. Yeah. It's for the swipe phones, right? So the iPhones that have Face ID, it's you swipe down, at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
So, and if you have the buttons, then it's just you tap twice on the home button.
Yes, that's right.
And that's what does that. And it is nice to have. When their phones started having bigger screens, I used to use it quite a bit on my iPhone 7 Plus because big phone, really hard to reach all the way across the screen.
Yeah.
I did use this feature quite a bit.
Yeah.
But then I just got a smaller phone, and turns out that solves the problem.
Sure.
You really like that.
I really do, actually. I'm a big fan of this phone.
That's good. That is good. So that is potentially coming. I say potentially because all of these things could come and go as the Android 12 developer preview goes along. So these are just things that people are noticing that are there at the moment. And then this is one more thing I wanted to mention. So I want to say it was Android 10 when they stopped the dessert names, unfortunately. But they do still call them dessert names internally. And the internal name of Android 12, so I want to see if you guys have any guesses. The letter is S.
Snicker.
Nope.
No.
That would make sense. Slurpee.
Close.
No.
Slushy.
Closer.
Samsonite.
That's it.
I was way off. No, it is snow cone.
Okay, yeah. All
It
right.
was there.
Yeah.
I was in the ballpark. In the ballpark.
So the internal name of Android 12 is snow cone. Again, that won't be the thing when they officially announce it. It'll just be Android 12 because they are boring now.
Yeah.
But
And now I want a snow cone. Dang.
well, yeah.
The power of suggestion, man.
I mean that makes sense. They did release a schedule for when they're going to be updating things and how they're going to be updating this developer preview, and then when it goes into a beta, and then when the official thing, well, they didn't give the official date for when it'll actually launch, but they're going to be doing monthly updates. So February, March, and April will be the developer previews, and then starting in May after I/O will be the beta releases. And then in the beta release in August, they're saying we'll have platform stability, so that's more of a final build. And then sometime after that, the final release will happen. Usually it does happen at the end of August, beginning of September. It's always been the timeline. This is just another month or another couple weeks early than they've been doing it. And this has kind of been the pattern the last few years. So a few years ago, the developer preview started in April, beginning of April. And then a couple years ago, it was middle of March. Then last year, it was beginning of March. Now it's the middle of February. So,
yeah.
I mean, next year, beginning of February. And then in a couple
It's
years,
like-
it's going to be January. And then in a few years before that, we're going to be getting the next version of Android beta day after the release of the other version of, I don't know. Whatever.
It's like they're trying to slide into a release window that doesn't necessarily compete with Apple's as much, but also doesn't compete with Samsung's on the other side. Though now that Samsung is potentially not going to be doing Note series phones, maybe that doesn't matter so much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because they're still going to be releasing the full version at the same time.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
They're not moving that up at all. They're just, the only thing I could
I
see
don't
is
know.
they're giving more and more and more time for developers to actually implement these changes, and also allow for manufacturers to put these changes into their phones. Not
Yeah,
that
that's fair.
ever made a difference for them, because the ones that are going to do it are going to do it, and the ones that aren't. Samsung. So that's what we have to look forward to with Android 12. I'm sure there will be more things that are found and more things that are added as time goes on. There's always more things added after I/O, and even some things after the final build is released that is not there in any of the betas. So we'll keep up on that as time goes on. The next little thing that I want to talk about with Google News is YouTube TV. They have announced that there's going to be an add-on package that includes 4K streaming, offline viewing, and unlimited concurrent streams. And I'm looking forward to all three of these. The problem is it says add-on package. Now, it didn't say that it would cost more or if this is free. I'm assuming based on the wording add-on package that it will cost more, which is unfortunate because it already costs $65 a month, which is $30 more than what it debuted at. Freaking Google. But I like the 4K streaming idea. I already thought it was kind of doing that because I've watched some things and some channels are definitely more clear than others because it's those channels I know have 4K cameras that they're shooting stuff in, so it's interesting. But anyways, that's coming. The offline viewing, I'm really looking forward to as well, because there's some shows and some times, like if I fly somewhere, I wouldn't mind having the ability to watch my TV shows or something while I'm doing that. Or if I don't want to use data, I can download it on Wi-Fi and watch it somewhere else. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But the big thing for me is this unlimited concurrent streams.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Because currently, so they allow you to have up to 6 different accounts under one main account.
Right.
But they only allow for 3 people to stream at a time.
What? Oh,
Or
that's rough.
3 devices to stream at a time. And that is annoying, and that has come into play for me on multiple occasions, because we have 4 different accounts under my thing that shares the YouTube TV. And there's been multiple times where it randomly, you're kicked off because there's too many people streaming it. I automatically get back on and say, no, I pay for it. You're off. Get off. That's me.
Mine.
That's fair.
Yes, I think that is fair. But having the ability to have unlimited streams at a time, I like that.
Yeah.
So that alone may make me want to have this add-on package. So
Yeah.
Did you say how much it is?
There's no details on that. So that's what I don't know for sure, if it is free or if it's paid or what. I'm just assuming that it's going to be an additional cost, because it says add-on package, not just we're adding this to YouTube TV. So
Right.
Gotcha.
obviously we will find out later, but again, they haven't announced any details other than what's coming. So, But I'm looking forward to it. That's all of my Google news. Now, one thing of general tech that I wanted to mention is this actually does not affect Wes, because he already pays for this. LastPass is no longer going to be free if you use it on multiple device types. Now, this is not just multiple devices, but if you want to stay on the free tier, you have to select either mobile devices or computers.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ouch.
Now, what's interesting is I remember this being the case a while, like when I first started using LastPass, there was a free version and a paid version, and the paid version basically got you on multiple devices. And then they made everything, not everything, but a lot of things free, and now they're going back to that. I don't know, because I remember like the last little while I was like, what are the benefits to paying for it? Because I couldn't really find any, because they made it free for most things. But now they're going back to this. So if you do use it on your computer and your phone, you're going to have to pay $3 a month for a single user, or $4 a month for a family plan. So if you have multiple accounts under one plan, it'll be $4 a month for multiple devices. Either way, those are not bad prices. I want to say there's you can pay for it for a year at a time, can you? And it's a little discounted.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah. What are the prices on that? Do you know?
Well, for the family plan,
For either.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, okay.
I mean, he only pays for it once a year, so
Yeah. But I would assume there is a discount going that route, because that's usually the way it goes. If you pay for a year in advance, they give you a month or 2 months free. So
yeah, that's how they did it for me. Like when I upgraded the family plan, and then they gave me 3 months, and I just once a year it just takes it.
Yeah. I have been on the free plan, but I do plan on going probably the $3 route, because on all the devices that we use LastPass on, it is just my account, so I'll be fine with that one. But I do use it on a regular basis on my desktop and on my laptop and on my phone and on my wife's phone, so we can't just pick device type, because that would suck. So, And I actually am okay paying for it, because then it ensures that LastPass will stay around for longer, because free services tend to go bye-bye after a while, because they can't pay for things when you aren't paying for it. So, that's all of my tech news for this week.
Not too bad. Sucks about the LastPass thing. I know a lot of people are being forced to start paying for it if they want to use it. It's good. It's a good thing.
I was initially bummed and kind of bugged by it, but I understand why they're doing it. So I'm not, I mean, and yeah, like I said, initially kind of annoying, but I'm not going to complain about it because it's a really good service. And most other password managers out there that are comparable to LastPass, you have to pay for. So
Yeah,
it's fine. I'm not upset about it.
and they usually like you were talking. They usually have any kind of, hey, move to premium or whatever they're calling it, whatever plan, get a certain amount free, or this year, if you pay for the year, you get a certain amount a year free or something.
Yeah.
There's always something. So always check into that if you're looking to upgrade.
Yeah.
So anywho, so that's everything for you. Let's go ahead and let's move on. Caleb, what you got for us?
Oh man, I have the most thrilling news of your entire 2021 thus far.
Oh boy.
Listener, M1 Macs have gotten their first viruses.
Oh man.
Really?
That didn't last long. Yes, a moment of silence. There have been sightings in the wild of actual pieces of malware that were written for the M1 architecture, which means they'll be able to run on native versions of M1 macOS. So that's not great, but also not necessarily that surprising. The people who make viruses had as much time to optimize for the new Macs as the people who make actual legitimate software. So, the secret, as always, to remaining virus-free and safe, listener, is, as always, to not be a dork.
Basically.
On the internet.
Yeah.
Just don't download stuff you shouldn't download. Don't run stuff you shouldn't run. If a window pops up when you run an executable that says, hey, this is like a horrifying thing that will gain access to all of the files on your computer, especially if you did not actually start installing a piece of software, click cancel. Like,
Yeah.
you don't want that to actually happen. I don't think that this is to the point where everybody should be running out and buying antivirus for their Macs, because even still, the vast majority of exploits do not target Macs. But just know that buying an M1 Mac does not mean that you're just immune from viruses. You still need to be careful.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's your Apple advice for the week and your one piece of Apple news, because holy crap, Apple isn't doing anything but basically just being in a legal battle with Epic at this point, and I don't want to talk about that. Nobody wants to hear about that. Just rest assured, user, it's still happening, and if the battle with Samsung is any indication, it's going to continue to happen for like the next 5 years. Who knows?
Isn't that the free Fortnite thing they're still going on about?
Yes, yeah, they're still like whining about it, and the honest truth is, I don't actually care who wins this. I don't, whatever. I'm just not even going to pay attention to it.
Yeah, because no matter who wins, it's not the customer.
I know. That's the thing, is it's all like, oh, great, now we have an app store from Epic. I'm not installing that. It's Epic. Are you kidding? Like, I know what they're going to do with my user data, and it ain't nothing good, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, because aren't they owned by like Tencent or something? Partially?
Are they now? I can't. Actually, yeah, I think they might be. Or at least Tencent has a stake in Fortnite specifically, but yeah, they may very well have a full company stake as well.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Epic is supposed to be a privately owned organization, and like, yes, you can have people own portions of a company that is technically still privately held. It's just that Tim Sweeney needs to get off his high horse. Anyways, I said I didn't want to talk about that, Wes. Stop goading
Sorry.
me.
Okay, I'm done.
So, in actual cool tech news, and this is cool, listener, you may have heard that NASA has landed the Perseverance rover on Mars. That happened this past week. So this was the second rover to use their whole sky crane system, which is the dopest thing ever, right? So that's where the lander gets launched off of the rocket towards, it has like a big heat shield windbreak that it uses to get most of the way down. And then that jettisons a little rocket sled out of it that fires rockets to to slow itself down. And then they drop the rover from the bottom of that thing with like a 20-foot cable. And once the rover's on the ground, the sled cuts the cable and then flies off and crashes somewhere. It's like literally at that point, it just kind of just takes off and goes and slams into the ground. So that happened. It was a fully successful. Rover's on the ground, and we are already getting back gorgeous high definition images of the surface of Mars. This isn't the first rover that's done this. Like this whole sky crane landing technique is used because of the weight of the past few rovers that we have sent to Mars. But the first one was kind of more of experimental, like just trying to figure out whether or not the sky crane was going to work. And so they didn't load up the rover itself with as much science equipment or technology as they could have, just because it was unproven. They needed to know, but it did work. So they did it again with this one, and Perseverance has way better cameras, way better science equipment and everything than Curiosity did, which was the last rover. So we're getting really cool stuff already back from Perseverance. And probably my favorite thing is within the next couple of months, they're going to drop the Ingenuity drone off of the belly of the rover and have the first the first powered flight on another solar body. Because Mars does have an atmosphere. It's not a ton, but there's enough there for a little tiny helicopter to get off the ground. And so they're going to try that out, which will allow them to explore much wider swaths of the landscape. And, see what they can see. So that's pretty cool. NASA is awesome. Obviously, these rovers, these spacecraft are at the forefront of the technology that is going into these things and stuff like that. And it's cool. Eventually, I want to live on Mars. That'd be dope. Probably not going to happen in my lifetime, but, I can dream.
Yes, you can.
Hey, if Elon Musk has anything to do with it, you'll get there.
Yeah. I won't get back. That's the key with
true.
Elon Musk.
You will get there, but
but you will die there as well. Which,
hey,
if I'm old enough, maybe that's fine.
Yeah, it's like if I'm 80 years old, why not? Send me to Mars. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like I'm cool with dying on Mars. That's all right. Like even if I don't actually land, like I'll just slam into the surface and that's just where my skeleton will be. That'll be cool.
Heck, even just getting to see it in person would be worth it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true.
And then you'll always go down as the first person to die on Mars.
Heck yes.
Oh, dude. Okay.
That would be so cool.
That's almost like, okay, I don't care what age I am.
Right?
Yep, I'm going down in the history books, the first person to die on Mars. Perfect. Send me in. I'm going.
That would actually probably be like the first person to die on a planet that wasn't Earth. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's all of my tech news. I do have gaming news. So
let's get right into it. Let's talk about some gaming news.
And by gaming news, I mean I have BlizzCon Line is what they're calling it.
That's gaming.
Yep. Which listener, that's BlizzCon Online, in case that wasn't clear.
Use the punniness.
So just real quick updates for most of their franchises. First off, I'm just going to go ahead and point out, listener, in the opening ceremonies, they didn't really talk about StarCraft or Overwatch at all. Like they mentioned the esports leagues for StarCraft 2 and Overwatch. That was pretty much it. They just kind of mentioned it in passing, which, Overwatch 2 is still in development. I did watch a couple of minutes of like their deep dive into the behind the scenes, the development of Overwatch 2. It's still actively being developed. They mostly were just talking about the stuff they've done in the past year. The way they were talking about it, we definitely are not going to see a release for it this year. Otherwise, they would have mentioned something. So we're looking at 2022 for Overwatch 2. StarCraft, they didn't say anything about at all, which, I mean, at this point doesn't necessarily surprise me. The original StarCraft went basically like a decade completely untouched because the esports league was still thriving. StarCraft 2's esports league is also still thriving, so they're going to continue to make quality of life improvements to the esports stuff for StarCraft 2. But in terms of like a StarCraft 3, we're probably not going to see that for, I don't know, another 5 years probably.
Well, we had StarCraft, like the original StarCraft, for 20 years before we got StarCraft 2. So,
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
and
And
the thing is, though, it held up for those 20 years. So
it did. No,
that's
there was
why.
still active, like very active player base 20 years after when StarCraft 2 released. So like, the Legacy of the Void campaign, that's about 5 years old at this point. And then they had like the Nova stuff that came out a couple of years after that. And then everything has just been updates to the multiplayer since then. So at least another 5 years before we see anything about StarCraft 3. So nothing crazy going on with either of those franchises this year. So let's talk about the franchises that actually do have some changes happening. First of all, Hearthstone. Hearthstone is getting another expansion. That's not necessarily surprising at this point. This game is so easy to update content for that I don't know. I guess it would be kind of boneheaded for them to not release content updates for it.
Yeah.
So fair enough. Okay, Blizzard, I get you. That makes sense. Heroes of the Storm is the same kind of thing. No major updates, but like they're going to be pushing, new stuff into the game just at kind of the same rate as they have been, because again, doesn't actually take that much effort to do. So,
yeah.
Okay. World of Warcraft is getting two kind of significant updates. So the first one is a major content update for the Shadowlands expansion.
Yep.
Are we still calling them expansions in WoW these days? They're like the only ones. Thank you, Blizzard, for continuing to call them expansions and not DLC. Thank you.
Yep,
I mean, they are basically new games every time they come out. So yes, the Shadowlands expansion is getting its first major content update this year. They also announced Burning Crusade Classic. So Burning Crusade was the first expansion for WoW back in the day, and they're just re-releasing that on top of the game. So basically what Blizzard has done is 15 years after? No, 20? How old is WoW? I don't even...
2004 is when it came out.
Okay, so yeah, more than 15 years after the game originally released, they just released it again and got a whole bunch of people to buy it and start playing it again and keep paying for it. And now they're just a year later, they're releasing the first expansion for the game to get those people back. They're basically just like the exact same release schedule as 15 years ago, just transposed forward in time 15 years, and they're just re-releasing the game.
And it's working.
It is working. And that is like, Blizzard commands more nostalgia in the gaming world than I think any other company outside of like maybe BioWare and Bethesda. There's a few that might be able to combine as much, or might be able to control as much nostalgia as Blizzard, but not that many.
No.
Blizzard is in a really unique spot that way, at least on PCs for PC games.
Right.
So yes, that's what's happening with World of Warcraft. They also announced what did they call it? The arcade thing, arcade
Blizzard,
classics,
Blizzard Arcade,
something like that. But what it is, listener, is so it's, I don't know if you knew this, it's the 30th anniversary of the founding of Blizzard. 30 years.
30 years
of this. And like, I know that doesn't seem all that crazy when you consider the existence of companies like Nintendo or Atari or something like that. But for a company that all they have done is PC games, like they haven't made their own hardware, they haven't done, like, that's pretty incredible that Blizzard has been as popular as they have been for as long as they have been. So they
especially
released,
considering the PC is only like 35 years old.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You have a point.
So they what this is the original games that were made by Blizzard. So the Lost Vikings, crap, what are the other two? They're not as popular.
Full Throttle, or no, what is it? Let's see.
We're gonna have to look this up. It was the three original arcade games that Blizzard released back in the, like in 1991, I guess it would have been.
Blizzard Arcade Collection.
Yes, that's what it's called.
Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn.
Yes. Yep. So all three of those games they're basically recreated. They're direct ports from the arcade versions of the games. So it's not like a remaster, it's just the original game. But they have added a bunch of quality of life stuff to it, like being able to save and load and stuff like that, which it was kind of funny. They made a joke. They're all like, yeah, because that technology didn't exist back then, which like it didn't on arcade machines, because of course it didn't on arcade machines. Like what? More quarters.
Yeah.
So yes, that arcade collection is going to be available. In fact, is already available.
Yes, it is.
To people who you can buy into their like 30th anniversary celebration thing on their website, and that will get you the arcade collection. And then kind of the biggest thing, at least for me, that they talked about in the opening ceremonies and just throughout the first day of BlizzCon line was Diablo. So they came out, they mentioned Diablo Immortal and how, people were really excited about it. And I was like, no, they're not. And then they mentioned Diablo 4. Diablo 4 was a little bit more significant. They did introduce a new class. We're going to be seeing the Rogue return. The Rogue class from the original Diablo is going to be back in Diablo 4. So that'll be kind of cool. I never really played as the Rogue in the original Diablo because, like, I figure in the original Diablo, my finding was that the controls sucked and I couldn't do anything ranged, like, at all. So I was basically always playing as the tanky dude. What was his?
The warrior?
Yeah, that one.
The warrior. Okay.
So I never played as a rogue, but there was the rogue encampment and stuff in Diablo 2, and that was pretty cool. And also, speaking of Diablo 2, they also announced my favorite announcement of the entire year, and the only thing that I actually cared about in this year's BlizzCon, Diablo 2 Resurrected, which will be in my library as soon as absolutely possible, and will make the third time that I have purchased that game. Freaking Blizzard, how dare you? But also, give it to me.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh.
So
No,
it is.
I get it.
It is a fully rebuilt version of the game replacing the 2D world and 2D sprite based game with a 3D engine, and they have rebuilt all of the cinematics. Now, what you are hearing, listener, when I say that is they did like what they did with StarCraft Remastered, and they took all of the cinematics, which are classic, which are excellent cinematics, and frankly, they don't really need to change them. They just upscaled them, they smoothed them, they made it look nice and crisp, but, all of the polygons and stuff like that are still pretty low, and the animation is kind of janky, and so on and so forth. From what they said, that is not what they are going to be doing with Diablo 2. What they have done is they've taken their amazing cinematics team at Blizzard, and they have remade all of the cinematics using modern technology and modern models and all of that good stuff, except they're all shot-for-shot recreations of the original cinematics in Diablo 2. Nobody was saying that the original cinematics in Diablo 2 needed to be changed, just updated. And I am so on board with this. Like, that fact alone pretty much sells me this game. So there you go. That's the essence of the stuff that's going on with BlizzCon. If you are interested in any of those things, obviously they did have follow-up presentations and stuff like that are on YouTube. In fact, the entire thing is on YouTube. You can go watch all of these videos and stuff that they've released over the couple of days of BlizzCon. Those will go into more detail on what new changes have happened to Diablo 4. If you want some more background on what's been happening with Overwatch 2's development, you can go watch that on their channel. You can find more details on the Hearthstone changes on the Hearthstone channel. So hop on YouTube. You can rewatch any of this stuff because for the first time ever, all of this stuff was just streamed to YouTube and it's there. So that's kind of cool.
It is cool.
And that's my gaming news. So,
which is pretty good news. That is
Blizzard.
Probably my favorite is that Diablo 2.
I'm so excited about that.
Oh, dear listener, you'll probably see us be streaming that game.
Heck,
most
yes.
definitely.
Heck yes.
Oh, so excited for that. All right, let's go ahead and move on from Blizzard. I do have two little things I want to talk about on the gaming side. Actually, Microsoft, they actually announced new wireless Xbox headset that actually is, I feel, pretty worth talking about. So let's talk about the price. They were getting a lot of flack before they got the price. People were like, oh, this is going to be like $200 or something. No, it's actually $99.99 for this wireless headset. So it supports the spatial technologies like Windows Sonic, Dolby Atmos, DTS headphones, things like that. That's on there. It's got a lot of people that really like it. Is it polyurethane leather? I guess fake leather
Yeah.
is what it is, but that's on there. But what's really cool about this, the wireless headset, is it works with obviously the Xbox Series X and S, but also Xbox One, Windows 10 PCs, and it can also connect to mobile devices via Bluetooth and consoles with Xbox wireless technology, like, for example, or just like the wireless controller can. But it also supports simultaneous pairing with a phone and an Xbox.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, so I actually thought it was pretty cool. And a little thing that they said that they'll have a little light at the end of the little microphone and have two different lights saying that you're muted or not. So
Nice. So you can actually see it when.
Yeah. But I thought this was actually pretty cool that they came out with this. I mean, for $100, it's actually not too bad. I know headsets for gaming and things like that are like $150 or more, but this being a complete wireless, like there is no dongle. It's just wireless. It does have USB-C charging, so you can plug it in, charge it if you wanted to. But yeah, it's completely wireless, either the Xbox wireless technology or Bluetooth. So
that's
and
nice.
that SIMO, which is pretty cool. So
yeah,
I did want to mention that's coming out. It is in pre-order, and it comes out on March 16th worldwide, is what they said. So there is the pre-order that did start on February 16th, but I heard those were quickly sold out. So, but something you can get your hands on. Another thing I thought was actually really cool, one of the promises that Xbox had promised us with the new consoles is the FPS Boost to backwards compatible games. They have just released that for a select amount of games for it right now. So FPS Boost is your frames per second boost, which will bring any games that were like 30 frames per second up to 60 and some up to 120 if you want. And you can turn it on and off very easily on your Xbox menu if that's something you're wanting to do. So you're able to do that. The first games that actually support this boost are Far Cry 4, New Super Lucky's Tale, Sniper Elite 4, UFC 4, and Watch Dogs 2. So those are the ones as of right now you can do that with, but obviously more to come this year. So,
well, cool. I mean, it makes sense. They got obviously the hardware chops to do it. And yeah. I mean, they've always had the hardware chops to do it. It's just that games made for consoles target a specific set of hardware so hard that like getting them to do anything differently than what they were hard coded to do originally, that takes some doing. So
yeah,
good for them.
And I think with this new generation of consoles on, as well as PlayStation 5, I think they're looking more into that and being like, yeah, if you want to tweak it a little bit, here you go. And I think the first one to do that was the Xbox One X, to where you could either do a performance mode or a resolution mode.
Yeah. But the new gen is like so much more controlled. Like they're giving you so much more control over it. And that's good. Like I honestly 100%. Feel like for your being able to kind of tailor your gaming experience based around what your hardware is and what you prefer, it really improves the whole experience. So
Yes, it does. So just wanted to let you know that is there and more games to come. So
awesome.
All right. Well, I think that is everything, unless Landon's got one more thing.
No, I don't.
Oh, dang. I was
not this week.
It's all right. No, nothing on Stadia, huh?
Nope.
All right. Well, dear listener, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. And again, if you want to get a hold of us, you can get a hold of us on our social media platforms, as well as callingallplatforms.com. And if you want to check out any cool videos of us streaming on YouTube, you can do Calling All Platforms Gaming. Or if you want to see some cool tech stuff, you can go Calling All Platforms Tech on YouTube. Dear listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.